Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Welcome to this session. Can you hear me? If yes, please type yes in the chat box. If you can hear me, please type yes as a confirmations in the chat box. Thank you very much for your confirmations. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much for joining the session at early morning, 6 o'clock in India. Thank you very much. Let us stop the chat. Let us stop the chat. Perfect. Thank you very much. Let us stop the chat. So what is our plan for today's session? What is the plan for today's session? In this session, you'll understand what is, first I'll give you an introduction about myself. I'll give you the introduction about myself, and then we'll have an introduction from the participants. And then we will get into understand the concept of DevOps. You'll understand what is DevOps. Why DevOps is very, very important in the current IT industry. Why there are more number of job opportunities in the DevOps. Okay. And then we'll discuss about SDLC, software development lifecycle. To understand DevOps, you have to have an understanding about software development lifecycle. I'll give an introduction to software development lifecycle, and then you'll understand what is DevOps, and then we'll discuss about the course contents. What are the course contents which are covered as part of the training course? So this is our plan for today. Okay. So let me introduce myself. I am Sunil Kopavarapu from Hyderabad. I have more than 10 years of experience in the teaching industry and close to 12 years of experience in the IT industry. I worked as in Oracle Corporation. I worked an AWS platform. I worked in DevOps platform. I worked as a framework, a Django framework, and in development part. So I'm involved in cloud infrastructure management. So this is about a quick introduction about myself. Before moving ahead, any participants you want to have a talk, please raise your hand. Any questions you're having with respect to this particular course? Any participants, if you want to have a talk or an interaction, please raise your hand. Okay. Good morning, Jagadish. How are you doing?
Good morning, Sunil. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
So, I want to I want to move to AWS plus DevOps actually. So,
Very good.
I have been working since 10 years in IT industry. So, how it will be like?
I know in which platform you're working on.
I'm in production support currently.
Currently production support. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. So you want to get into AWS DevOps role. Agree, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
yes,
to achieve your target, because you have started learning DevOps now. Okay. You have to start exclusively AWS course. Also learn exclusively AWS course. There is a 1 month exclusive AWS course. We'll be covering about services like EC2, S3, VPC, okay, through 53 identity access management. So there's an exclusive AWS course, okay? That is always an added advantage, Jagadish. Okay?
Yeah. Sunil, actually, I have gone through your I joined your last year AWS course that you conducted a free thing and
Okay.
that video. Yeah.
That's
so
enough.
I have gone through. That is enough, right?
That is enough. Okay. So please, as you are in the right track, as you are aware of the AWS services, now you have started learning DevOps. After you have to practice DevOps, Jagadish, because it's not as easy as straightforward as AWS. Okay. So you have to practice DevOps and then prepare your resume. Okay. We'll share you the sample resumes. What kind of roles and responsibilities needs to be placed, you will understand it once you look at a resume and once you complete the course content. Okay. And out of your 10 years of experience, okay, Project the latest 3 years of experience in AWS and DevOps, and the remaining 7 years of experience is your same old production support experience. Okay, Jagdish?
Okay. Yeah, how
That's
it
how
will
you
be
have
for
to, that's how,
non-technical guys? Yeah, non-technical guys. Like my wife also interested to learn.
no, the first point, whether
Yeah.
whether the participant is from technical or non-technical background. The point what you have to understand is that you have to project experience in your resume. Then only you will start receiving the calls. Am I right, Jagadish? Okay, so you are having 10 years of experience, so you have to project 3 years in AWS DevOps and 7 years as your older experience. Okay, so people who are having no experience, they have to project 3 years or 2.5 years of experience in AWS and DevOps. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like how easy for them? Like
No, see, the process is the same. So only thing they have to understand the topics, they have to understand the concepts, they have to do hands-on, perfectly prepare well, and appear for the interview. That's all. Okay. So
okay.
don't think negative. Okay. So there are many people who have successfully changed their career from non-IT to IT industry after this DevOps course. Okay. So prepare well. All the best.
Okay. Okay. Current industry is good for, right? So AWS
Correct.
is developed.
Correct. Yes, it is one of the most
Thank you so much,
one
Sunil.
of the most recruited platform now as of now. Good morning, Gopal. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Sunil. How about you?
Doing well. Thank you, Gopal. Yes, your question. You are from which location? Your experience, please.
So actually, I'm a US IT recruiter, uh,
Very good.
and also like I'm completed my MBA this
In
year
which
only.
year you have completed? 2023.
Yeah, 23 only. But
Mhm.
I think I follow you like from past 2 years actually.
Okay, good.
So I learned some like AWS course as well. But
Very
the thing
good.
is that on the time like I passed out 2020 years only. So I did not have a chance to like any put any fake experience or anything else. So as a
Mm-hmm.
fresher, I had to go. As a
Mm-hmm.
fresher, I had to go. But
Mm-hmm.
on that time, I just decided like market will be more on demand only in experience only, guys.
Correct.
So I just
Mm-hmm.
drop out and just done the MBA for the sake of
Mm-hmm.
this course only.
For
So I just have
okay.
on yeah. So now I'm planning
As
for
you are
the
IT recruiter, Gopal,
yeah
now
yeah
tell me how is the job market for DevOps, AWS and DevOps, isn't it? You have a lot of
yeah,
calls, am I
actually
right?
yeah sure 100%. Even today I also recruiting like Azure DevOps course. So
Mm-hmm.
we have like we have requirement for that. So that's the one thing. But
Yes.
I'm staying actually like in India, from Hyderabad.
Okay. Okay. You are
Yeah,
from
yeah.
based out of India,
So
Hyderabad. So point number
yeah,
one,
yeah.
Gopal, as you already know it, because you yourself is a recruiter, there are a lot of opportunities for DevOps. Agree or not? There are very less number of right profiles in the market. Agree or not? Isn't it, Gopal? Are you facing
Yes,
difficulty in
yes.
finding the right resumes from the job sites like Naukri? Isn't it? Even though
Yeah, yeah.
interview
That's
is
true.
shortlisted, participants may not be
Mm-hmm.
not in a position to clear the technical round, isn't it? Oh, well, so the point you have to understand is
Yes,
that
100.
there are opportunities in DevOps and AWS, but there are no right resumes. There are no right persons who are ready to capitalize the opportunity. Okay, because of lack of skill
Okay.
sets. Am I right, Gopal? Do you agree with this statement?
100% true, Sunil, actually.
Okay,
Even
so
when I
please.
just
Mhm.
sourcing the candidates, they will not at all put right skill sets. Like if they mention like some Terraform something so and so skill, if the resume will be reflected, means we can pick the resume actually. That one thing. As a recruiter, I can do the job.
That's all.
Coming to my point, I have one little fear of it that if I put like 2 years of experience, it should be fine in the market. Can I survive? Like how it's happened?
No
But I'm not
problem.
sure actually.
No problem. Survival is step two, Gopal.
Okay.
Survival is step two. You are thinking about step two, but before that, please think about step one. Only when you perform step one confidently, you need to think about step two because step one is all about creating a resume and understanding the skills. learning the course, understanding the skills, practicing it, gain confidence, and then appear for the interview and get the job. This is step one. Once you complete the step one, once you get into the job, you may never know which tool you will be working on. You may be involved in Ansible tool, you may be involved in Terraform, you may be involved in Jenkins, you may be involved in Docker. You don't know, Gopal, isn't it? So the completely,
That's
you don't know. Am I right? Are you
right.
understanding? So what will be the responsibilities? You don't know. So don't worry
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
I'm got it.
Don't worry about step two. Worry about step one.
Mm-hmm.
First, control what you have it
Okay.
on your hands. Why are you thinking about what you don't have it in your hands? You may never know what you'll get it, is it? Okay, think about only what you can control. What you
Okay.
can control, what is in your hands. Your hands is gaining the skills, gaining the subject, practicing, be 100% perfect whatever we are learning. Create your resume, apply it in the Naukri. You will start
Okay.
receiving the calls, no doubt on it. Attend the calls, learn more than what I trained. This is what you're in your hands. If you're perfect in what you're in hands, you'll complete step one. And then once you get into the job, once you get the offer level or offer letter, then you think about step two. Basing on the tool, what you get it, basing on the job, what you get it. Okay, how to overcome it. It's a challenge, Gopal. Okay. Okay,
Sure, sure,
so
Sanjay.
we need to take every opportunity as a challenge and proceed. Agree? Isn't it? That's how we get the success.
Sure, Sanjay. Fine.
Thank you, Gopal. Thank you for
Yeah, thank you.
keeping.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you for joining and keeping in touch with me too after 2 years also. Okay, good. Thank you,
No,
Gopal.
no, actually, Sunil, actually, what happened? I think I said you like MSME from
Mm-hmm.
past. One of Rajesh actually referred you. So on that
Okay.
time only, I have like a big plans to move on like AWS. I have to learn all those stuff actually. But
Mm-hmm.
on that time, what happened? I just passed out 2020 years only.
Okay.
So I just I searched a lot of in the market. So what I decided like in the market, the more only like getting the calls for experienced candidates only, not the like even one fresher candidates as well.
Okay. Okay.
So that is why I just holding back myself, and I mean that is the reason I just holding back. I mean the thought one will be holding back myself.
Okay.
So I just
Okay.
plan now how to definitely move on to DevOps and anything, how to learn something and just move on.
Okay. Rajesh is my old student, right? Who got into DevOps job. Agree?
Yes, yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
How is
correct.
he doing now?
Yes, doing great actually. He also guide me something. Actually, that he very good person actually. He guide me a lot of actually.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
just motivate to learn some learn like commands as well.
Yes. Yes. Good.
So that is the reason.
Okay,
So even I
Gopal.
just practicing.
Yeah. Yeah. The many more
That
participants who
we
wants to talk to me. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
thank you.
Sharon. Good morning. You are now allowed to unmute.
Hello.
Good morning, Sharon. How are you doing? Your
Uh,
location, your experience.
Yeah, good morning, sir. My experience is 1.5 year experience only. Currently, I'm working at IBM under mainframe technology, but I want
Hmm.
to switch my technology before completing my 2 years. Before completing my 2 years only, I wanted to get trained and then I wanted to move to different technology.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly how to move, or should I move internally or externally? Uh,
The
so
first preference is to move internally within the internal job change, Sharon. Okay. That's the
oh,
first of preference. Okay.
okay.
How do you know about this course and this institute?
Yeah, one of my friend recommended this, so he
Hmm.
forwarded the messages to me and told me to join to this group, and so that's why I got to
Okay.
know.
Okay. Okay.
So, and I also have another doubt, like, is it DevOps plus AWS or DevOps on AWS? Like DevOps also, is DevOps also included, or only AWS is included, or both are included?
Okay. So, Sharon, in this particular course which we have started,
Yeah.
in this particular course, we are learning only DevOps.
Okay.
We are learning only
Only
DevOps
okay.
with just 10% of AWS.
Okay.
Okay. The 10% of AWS which is required for DevOps professionals, only to that extent I'll be teaching
Uh,
you. Okay.
okay.
So
Okay.
that any newcomer can also understand DevOps, even though he is or her has having no experience in AWS. But still,
Okay.
as I will be covering 10% of AWS, the participants can be comfortable on DevOps course. Okay. But it is recommended to learn complete AWS course. This is an exclusive AWS course. After this DevOps, please join the complete AWS course, because in the resume you have to project AWS skill sets as well as DevOps
Yeah.
skill sets.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so but you can continue this course, but after this, I recommend learn AWS. AWS is pretty easy. You can buy the videos also. That's not a
Yes.
problem.
Yes. I have
Okay,
completed certain certification like foundation level, and I am currently doing the architect associate level.
that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
And I
Shravan.
have one doubt ki like uh, like only 1 hour, like morning 6 to 7, only 1 hour, or do we have class on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays as well?
No, it will be morning 6 to 7, only 1 hour, Monday to Friday.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Very, very important point, my dear friends. There is a WhatsApp group which is exclusively created for this particular batch. I hope you already are in the WhatsApp group. For the people who are not in the WhatsApp group, okay, 1 minute, please. There is a WhatsApp group exclusively created for this particular batch. So to get the updates about this particular course, this particular batch exclusive, this is batch number 245. I'm sharing the group link in the chat box right now. Please pick up the link from the chat box and join the WhatsApp group to get the updates about this particular training. Good morning, Udaykant. How are you doing?
Hello. So
Good
I'm
morning.
audible.
Yes,
Good
you are
morning.
audible, Uday. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine, sir. So I have just a small query because my organization is implementing AWS, and since I'm part of the business analytics team, okay.
One question.
So,
Previously, before now, they're implementing AWS. Before that, they used to maintain the infrastructure in on-premises.
so it is maintained by one of the vendor, okay,
Okay.
and we have to only I have to only manage these things. Vendor management part I'm doing right now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I just came to know about this course because one of the my colleague is doing uh, Oracle level course from this Logic Tech. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so and he also recommended this course to me,
Okay.
and
Okay.
how it is going to help me in future if I'm looking for to switch to business analytics to AWS DevOps. Is it
Okay.
good or
Okay.
not?
So currently, Uday, your responsibility is in vendor management. Agree or not? Okay.
Yes,
Now you
vendor
want to
management.
get into business analytics. If you want to get into business analyst, you should
No,
have.
no. I'm business. I'm part of business analytics team where I'm designing the ETL processes, automations of all end-to-end project for organization. Okay, so
Okay.
this is how I'm doing. So in my current role, I'm using Oracle, uh, MS SQL, and
Okay.
Talent, Power BI,
Mm-hmm.
and
ETL.
Tableau, ETL.
Okay.
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 So
Okay.
these are the things that I'm doing, but I
Mm-hmm.
have to because I did my graduation in economics and I completed my PG in applied stats. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
whenever I was trying to apply new jobs, so I just came to know about AWS is required
Yes.
because in last 2-3 months, whatever the jobs that I have applied, it requires basic understanding of AWS at least. So
You are
AWS,
right to because as you know, most of the clients are moving to cloud environments. Either they are
yes,
moving to AWS or they are moving to Azure or Google Cloud.
yeah.
All the companies want to move to cloud. Okay, when everybody wants to move, when their clients want their when the client move their infrastructure to cloud, every resource, maybe you are a developer, you may be an ETL developer. If you are an ETL developer, the source will be relational databases, and relational databases are on cloud. Again, you need to know cloud services. Are you understanding, Uday? So the point is, when the complete infrastructure is on cloud, every resource should have an exposure on cloud.
Yes.
Okay, even though your core tool is a reporting tool, probably a Tableau or Microsoft Power BI, or it could be Oracle database or NoSQL database, whatever it is, but everything lies on the cloud. Am I right, Uday? So the point is, so your core tools remain the same, but every resource should have an understanding on how exactly the cloud works, how exactly the AWS work or Azure works. So that's the reason that's the reason in almost all the opportunities, having skill set on AWS is something becoming mandatory, whether you are a database administrator or you are maybe you may be working on a reporting tool for business analytics, or you may be working with ETL, because when you're transforming, obviously you have to communicate with the cloud. So cloud is something which is mandatory nowadays. So that's the reason having AWS skill set in your resume will always be an advantage. Will always be an advantage. Next point. So that's about AWS point of view. Now, Uday, now coming to DevOps, it's up to you whether you want to get into DevOps role or not. Okay, right now you're not working in the DevOps tools. You're working on ETL, as you have mentioned. You're working on one reporting tool. You're working on ETL tool. That's good.
Yes.
But if you want to switch your platform from this current tools which you're working, then I recommend to learn DevOps. Okay, so DevOps is all about implementing automation in software development lifecycle. Okay, you'll understand what is the importance of DevOps in this particular session.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so it's all about implementing automation. When developers make some changes, automatically changes will be moved to live in the production. Automation. Okay, so it's all about maintaining the infrastructure using the containers. So much more interesting concepts about DevOps, which is leading. So that's optional for you. In case if you want to change the platform, then go for DevOps. Otherwise, if you don't want to change the platform also, but AWS is something mandatory for you, right? Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry, we cannot talk with all the participants. We'll have interaction with one more participant, and then we will be moving on to today's session. Yes, Mihir. How are you doing, Mihir?
Hey Sunil, good morning. After a long time.
Yes, Mihir, how are you? I think you are my old participant, am I right?
Yeah, old participant Sunil.
Of AWS?
Yeah, DevOps.
Oh, yes.
Thing is that I joined 1 year back. Unfortunately, that time I didn't get project in my organization for DevOps. But this time, most probably in 1 or 2 months, I will get the project for the DevOps.
Good.
So that's the reason I thought to join this session again.
To revise your skills.
Right.
On that time, did you perform practice, or you have just attended the sessions?
I did some practice also, but that time I think Sunil, a few things we didn't go through like Terraform and all.
Now it is updated.
Yeah, that is also one of the reason to join. Yeah, let's see.
And
like
revise.
how the thing.
Good. Capitalize the opportunity which you are having in your hands. Okay, because DevOps is coming to you. Okay, so take the opportunity and then switch your career to the latest technology. Okay, thank you, Meher.
Thanks, Sunil.
One more final call. Vivek.
Hi Sunil, good morning.
Good morning, Vivek. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Sunil. Thank you.
Your location and your experience.
I'm in Hyderabad, Sunil. Currently, I'm in a project. It's a migration project from on-premises to cloud.
Very good.
In current project, I have Azure DevOps requirements, Sunil. How different is AWS and Azure? If I learn AWS, can I work on Azure?
Okay. Now, currently, no. Point is, you know AWS?
No, Sunil.
You do not know AWS. Do you know Azure?
No, I don't have any idea about Azure also.
Currently,
It's a new
your
opportunity for me.
migration is going on to Azure, right?
Correct.
Okay, so then this is not the right course with you because we are not learning AWS here. We are learning DevOps tools. Okay, so
Okay.
my strong recommendation is to learn Microsoft Azure
Okay.
because currently your migration is going on to Azure platform, right? So there is a batch which is already started, I think so. Do you know that?
Okay. I think that is admin, right?
That's enough.
Azure
That is
admin.
right course.
Okay.
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 I think just 1 week back, yes, it is started on 15th. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
I think 7 or 8 sessions has been completed. 7 sessions has been completed. Okay, take this particular course which starts at 6:30 in India. Okay, and then watch the recordings, whatever you have missed it. This is the right course for you. I strongly recommend. Not this one, not the current one. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
but that will because understanding the right skill is important. Okay, Vivek? Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Many more participants are raising their hands. My dear participants, because of time limitation, we can have an interaction in the coming sessions also. So let's get started about understanding the concept of DevOps. Before me explaining you what is DevOps on a high level, I want to explain about software development lifecycle. Before me explaining about DevOps, I want to explain about the term called software development lifecycle. Okay? Please have a look at it. You have a client assuming an ICICI bank needs an internet banking application. Okay, you have a client like ICICI bank needs an internet banking application. So generally these clients will approach IT companies it could be Infosys or TCS or Wipro, whatever it is. Client will approach IT companies okay. Client will approach the IT companies, explains the requirements to them. Okay, so ICICI Bank will reach software development companies, explains the requirements to that particular company. The Infosys, assuming Infosys is a software development company, they understand the requirement, develop the product, and deliver it to the client. This is what happens technically, isn't it? On a high level. Client needs an application. Assuming a banking client needs an internet banking application. So clients will approach IT companies. IT companies will take the requirements from the client. They clearly understand the requirements and then they promise that the particular application will be delivered on a specific date and time. This is what happens. When companies like Infosys takes the requirements from the client, they cannot develop an application or they cannot develop a product or a project on an ad hoc basis. This is a proper streamlined approach. Software development companies should follow a perfect streamlined approach of software development process. There is a step-by-step process of how the product should be delivered. So the software company should follow that streamlined step-by-step process so that the product will be delivered at right time without any issues. The professional approach of building a particular product and delivering it to a client is nothing but called as software development lifecycle, SDLC. A professional approach of right from gathering the requirements and ends at delivering the product to the client There is a professional streamlined approach. This professional approach of developing a particular product and delivering to the client is called a software development lifecycle. There are different life cycles. There are different processes in which you can develop a particular product and deliver it to a client. There are different models of software development lifecycle. We have waterfall model, we have agile model, there is V model, there is spiral model. There are different models. In delivering a particular product and giving it to the client. Okay, I don't want to discuss about all the different approaches or all the different models in software development lifecycle. I want to stick my conversation with respect to two popular models. I want to stick my conversation with respect to two popular models. One is waterfall model, the other one is agile model. The most popular software development models in the market is a waterfall model and agile model. I want to compare these two models. You can deliver a particular product using the waterfall model. You can also develop the product and deliver it to the customer using agile model. There are two different models. There are two different models, which these are two very important popular models which are available in the market. I want to start with waterfall model. How exactly waterfall model works? What does waterfall model says? Let's try to understand. A series of step-by-step process, a series of streamlined process right from requirement gathering to delivering the product to the customer is called as a software development lifecycle, in which I'm discussing about the waterfall model on a high level. What happens in the waterfall model? It could be waterfall model or any model. The first step is always the requirement stage. The first step is always the requirement stage. In the requirement stage, there will be regular meetings between the client and the software company. In the requirement stage, there will be regular meetings between the client. There will be regular meetings between the client and software company, because it is the responsibility of the software development company to take the requirements from the client. Requirements is a very, very important stage. The software company should understand the requirements clearly. If the requirements understanding is wrong, if understanding the requirements is wrong, obviously the company ends up delivering a wrong product. Agree? Understanding the requirements is very, very important. Understanding the requirements is very, very important stage, because based on the requirements, the product is developed and delivered. So the first stage in the software development lifecycle is a requirement stage, where there will be regular interactions between the client and the software company, and it is a responsibility of the software development company to clearly understand the requirements. This is called as requirement stage. This is called as a requirement stage. Once the requirements gathering is done, what happens in the analysis stage? The second stage is analysis. What happens in the analysis stage? In the analysis stage, the technology components are decided. The first stage is requirement stage. In the analysis stage, the technology components are decided. What do you mean by technology components? What technology should be used for building a particular product? Should we develop using Python language, or should we develop the application using Java, or should we develop the application using .NET? What should be the database? Should we use MongoDB, or should we use Oracle in this particular database, or should we use Microsoft SQL Server? What database needs to be used? What application server should we use? Tomcat? Should we use WebLogic? Should we use JBoss? What should be the middleware application needs to be used? Application server. So the technology components are decided for that particular product. So first stage is requirements. Once the requirements gathering is done, they will decide, okay, let's develop the project using Python and the backend as MongoDB, and we deploy it in JBoss or whatever it is. So the technology components are decided in the analysis stage. Once the technology components are decided, next third stage is design stage. Very, very important stage. In fact, all the stages are important design stage. Now, what happens in the design stage? In the design stage, the entire project is divided into modules. The entire project is divided into modules. For example, assuming our client is a banking client, the entire project is divided into modules. Savings account, one module, current account, one module, wealth banking, one module, credit card, one module, debit card, one module, customer care, one particular module. Their project is divided into modules, and then the design, how the data flow works, how the user interface looks like, the user interface, the workflows are designed. How the user interface works, how the user interface looks like when I click on a button, what should happen, what should be the background work. Everything should be designed in the design stage. So the complete development team will understand they can visualize how an application looks like in the design stage. The complete design, so how exactly the login page looks like the moment you log into button, how exactly the menu looks like when you click on a mini statement, how exactly the mini statement page looks like. The complete user interface diagrams will be drawn for each and every module. The workflows is designed. This happens in stage 3 called as a design stage. Once the design stage is completed, next comes the coding part. Here comes the role of a developer. The next stage is coding part. Developers will take the designs from the design team. They understand the requirements, they take the designs, they understand the workflow, how exactly the navigation happens. And basing on this particular design, they start developing the code. If it is a Java project, they'll be starting the Java code. If it is a .NET project, they'll be writing the Java code. Here comes the role of a programmer. Here comes the role of a programmer. So programmers will come into action. They take the documents from the design team and start realizing their particular designs. This happens in the coding part. Very simple. Once the coding has been completed, obviously the testing team will come into action. Once the coding has been completed, the testing team will come into action. Testers will check whether the application is perfectly behaving or not, which is developed in the coding part. They check whether the application is perfectly working or not. They write the test scripts and execute the test scripts and get the results. They'll understand what is the behavior of this particular module, how is the behavior of this particular page, is it meeting the requirements or not. The testing happens in the testing phase. Assuming positive, assuming that the testing has been completed, developers are perfectly right, they have clearly understand, they develop the code perfectly as per the design. Once as per the requirements, once the testing is passed, everything is perfect, then obviously we will deliver that particular product and the customers will receive that particular product. We deliver it to the customer. This step-by-step process is called as this way of developing a particular product is called as waterfall model, my dear friends. This approach is called as a waterfall model. A very simple, straightforward model: requirements gathering, analysis, technology components are decided, project is divided into modules. That happens in the design stage. Coding will take the documents from the design team, start developing the coding. Coding has been completed. Testing team will test whether the particular product, what they have developed, is perfectly working or not. If it is working, we deliver it to the customer. This straightforward, simple approach is called as a waterfall model. The first model of software development lifecycle is waterfall model, my dear friends. The first professional approach of software development lifecycle is a waterfall model. Waterfall model ruled the industry right from the inception. But now the waterfall model is an outdated approach. This way of developing the requirement, developing a particular product is an outdated approach. Right now, the industry is not using waterfall model because the waterfall model is suffering with some disadvantages. Waterfall model is successful probably 30 years back. Now the current industry is not using waterfall model at all. It is an outdated approach. It is used probably 30 years back, not now. Now let's learn the problem. Let's understand the problem with the waterfall model. What is the disadvantages of the waterfall model? Any questions? Any ideas or any points? So what is the problem with the waterfall model? Can anybody raise your hand and talk? Waterfall model is an outdated approach. Waterfall model is suffering with some problems and disadvantages. Perfect. Yes, Bokta.
Yes, sir. So here we cannot go back to the previous stage. That is the main disadvantage, right?
Correct. Perfect. Yes, you are right. So, my dear participants, the problem with the waterfall model is, as the name suggests, waterfall, water always falls from top to bottom. In the same way, in this particular model, there is no concept of going back and changing the requirements. For example, client has given a requirement on January 1st. Assuming the requirements has been given on January 1st. Analysis has been completed, design is going on. At the time of design, the client wants to make some changes in the requirements. No. Waterfall model does not support the clients to change the requirements or give the new requirements. They will freeze the requirements. The points you have to understand is the waterfall model always does not encourages the clients to give the new requirements. They freeze the requirements. As per the freeze the requirements, they proceed with design, they proceed with coding and testing and delivery. It does not encourages the clients to give new requirements. Because the requirements changes, the design change. There is no assuming coding is going on. There is no concept of going back and changing something. Once the requirements has been freeze, the analysis happens and the design happens and coding happens. You need to move on. There's no concept of changing the design. There's no concept of going back and changing to the previous step. No, it's not allowed. We need to move forward. That is one of the main problem with the waterfall model. The waterfall model does not encourages the clients to give the new requirements. But now in the industry, the business is such a dynamic approach where clients wants to change the requirements. Clients are the boss. You cannot stop the clients to give new requirements because of the current business. Participants, I am back. Sorry for the network glitch. The main problem with the waterfall model is there's no concept of going back and changing something. Requirements are freeze, analysis is done, design is done. There's no concept of changing the design. Coding has been completed, testing and delivery. That's all. Okay. So that's the main problem with the waterfall model. Next approach. The next problem with the waterfall model is, please observe. Okay. To gather the requirements, the time required is 1 month. Assuming to complete stage 1, it will take 1 month of time, participants. Okay. Analysis is done pretty quickly. That's not a problem. Assuming to design the particular project, the time required is 2 months. Project manager has estimated that they need 6 months of time to complete the coding part. The most time consuming part is the coding part. The project manager has given an estimate that they need 6 months of time. Okay. Now, please try to understand. Assuming that there are 10 testers. Assuming that there are 10 testers. Now tell me, these 10 testers will wait for how many testing job will start only after completing the coding part. Agree? Testing part will start only after completing the coding part. So coding will take 6 months. So testing team will wait for how many months? Testing resources will be waiting for 6 months. Assuming that there are 50 developers. Assuming that there are 50 developers. Now 50 developers will be busy after completing the design part. So 50 developers will be waiting for how many months? 2 months for completing the design part. So waiting 50 resources for a period of 2 months is a very, very expensive affair. Is a very expensive affair. So point you have to understand is some set of people will be waiting for other developers to complete their job. Testing team will wait for the coding team to complete their job. Coding team will wait for the design team to complete the job. Design team will wait for the analysis and requirements team to complete their job. Dependency. One set of resources will wait for other set of resources to complete their work. If the coding team says that it's not 6 months, they need 8 months to complete their job, the testing will wait for 2 more months again. The more waiting time, you are not effectively utilizing the resources. The organization is not effectively utilizing the resources because one team is waiting for other team to complete their job. Are you understanding my point? As one team will wait for other team to complete their job because of a lot of dependencies, that will affect the deadlines. It's very, very difficult to meet the deadlines because of dependencies. If the design team says that we don't want 2 months, they want 4 months to complete. If they want 4 months to complete, so the complete coding and developers will be waiting for 2 more months again. It's very, very difficult to meet the deadlines because one set of people will be waiting for the other set of people to complete their jobs dependency. This is the main problem with the waterfall model. So because of these disadvantages, the waterfall model is right now currently not used. It is not suitable for the current industry. The current industry clients are not ready to wait for longer time. Okay, so let's try to understand about the problem with the waterfall model. Let's try to understand the problem with the waterfall model. It is very, very difficult to estimate the time. It is very, very difficult to estimate the time, my dear friends. Clear? Clear about this? Perfect. Once an application is in testing, assuming the application is in testing stage, it is very, very difficult to go back and change something which is not well in the concept or previous stage. As I mentioned, there's no concept of going back and changing something. If you feel there's a change in the design, there's no concept of changing the design because you need to move forward. It is very, very waterfall model does not encourage us to change and go back. So it is not good for complex and object-oriented projects. It is not suitable where the requirements are at a moderate of high risk of changing. It is not suitable for the projects where the requirements are keep on changing. It's not suitable for very complex requirements. There's no concept of going back and changing something. So these are the problems of the waterfall model, because of which currently the waterfall model is not used in the industry. No industry is, no company is using waterfall model. It is an outdated approach. It is popular because first of its kind and most successful, but now it is not used. The most successful software development model currently is used in the agile model. The most successful model currently in the industry is agile model. Let's try to understand what is agile model. Participants, let's try to understand agile. Agile is currently used in the entire industry. Let's try to understand what is agile model, how agile model is different from the waterfall model. Please look at the terminology. Please look at the terminology. Agile development model is also called as incremental model. Software is developed in incremental and rapid cycles. This results in small incremental releases, which releases on the previous functionality. Each release is thoroughly tested and quality is maintained. Please try to understand the terminology. I'll explain about the agile model. Try to understand the terminology. Agile model emphasizes on iterative, incremental, evolutionary development. You have to understand what is iterative. Look at the terminologies of agile model. Iterative, incremental, software is developed in rapid cycles. It's an evolutionary development. What is this agile model? Participant, what is this agile model? How is it different from waterfall model? Let's try to understand now. So how waterfall model, participants, how waterfall model is different from the agile model? Please try to understand this example. This is a requirement. The client requirement is to build this kind of application for ICICI Bank. Okay, now you can see here we have personal banking, we have privilege banking, wealth banking, private banking, NRI banking, small and medium business banking, small and medium scale enterprises, corporate banking. Okay, fine. Now I'm talking about the difference of approach. Please try to understand with respect to waterfall model and agile model. What happens in the waterfall model? Participants, what happens in the waterfall model? In the requirement stage, there'll be regular meetings with the personal banking team and they take the requirements from the personal banking. Next, they go to privilege banking and take the privilege banking requirements. And then they go to wealth banking and take the wealth banking requirements. And they go to private banking and take the private banking requirements. NRI banking to take the NRI banking requirements. Like this, they take the requirements of each and every module and then they declare that the requirement stage has been completed. After requirements, okay, analysis part is done, then the design team will jump into action. They design the personal banking module, they design the privilege banking module, they design the wealth banking, they design the private banking, they design the NRI banking, they design the business banking, they design all the modules, and then they declare it as design is completed. After design has been completed, what is the next stage? Coding team will jump into action. The coding team will develop the code for personal banking. They develop the code for private banking. They develop the code for wealth banking. They develop the code for each and every module. And then they say it as coding has been completed. And then testing team will come into action. They test for each and every module. Once after completing the testing for each and every module, they say test testing has been completed, and then we deliver the entire project, entire modules at once. This is what happens in the waterfall model. Are you understanding my difference? Stage by stage analysis, design, coding. After completing the coding, testing. After completing the testing, they deliver the entire project to the customer. This is what happens in the waterfall. Whereas the agile model is completely different. The way the product is developed and delivered to the customer using the agile model is completely different. How is it different from waterfall model? Please try to understand. In the agile model, first, requirements stage will happen. The software company will take the requirements for a particular module, let's say personal banking. Requirements has been completed. Once the requirements has been completed for the first module, the requirements team will move on to the second module, privileged banking. The requirements team will move on to second module, privileged banking. When the requirements team is busy with the second module, the design team will start designing the first module. Participants. Design team will not wait for all the requirements to get completed. Why does the design team will wait for all modules? They will start working on the first module. Parallel execution, try to understand. The parallel execution. So here, both the teams are busy. The design requirements team is busy, design team is busy. Look at the third iteration. Assuming requirements is completed for the privileged banking, the requirements team will move on to next module, wealth banking. By the time design team will be completing the design part and they move on to the privileged banking. And then the coding team will come into action and start developing the code for personal banking. All the three teams are in force. The complete workforce is in action. Are you understanding? Design team is busy with wealth banking. Sorry, requirements team is busy with wealth banking. Design team is busy with privileged banking. The coding team is busy with coding the personal banking. Next iteration, assuming the design requirements has been completed, requirements is busy with the private banking. Design team will be busy with wealth banking. Coding team, probably they will complete the coding for the first module. They will be working on the second module. The testing team will be busy testing the first module. Are you understanding my dear friends? Parallel execution. This is what happens. The entire workforce is in action. You are breaking the dependencies. You are breaking the dependencies. Next iteration, observe here. The requirements will be busy taking the requirements of NRI module. Design team will be busy designing the private banking. Coding team will be busy coding the wealth banking. Testing team will be busy testing the privileged banking. First assuming testing has been completed, we'll deliver the first module to the customer. Evolutionary. What Agile says as evolutionary model. There's no hard and fast rule that the entire product should be delivered at once. At least client is happy. They can perform user acceptance testing. They can experience how exactly one module works. Rapid cycles. Evolutionary, iterative. Are you understanding? So what happens in the Agile model? I hope you can experience now. The entire workforce is in action. Are you understanding how the model works differently? If you're able to understand, please type yes in the chat box. The waterfall model, the entire workforce will be in waiting time. Are you understanding, my dear friends? Whereas here in the Agile model, the entire workforce is in action. Perfect. At least clients are happy they have delivered one particular module. The next iteration, they'll be delivering the second module. Once the clients will starting using particular module, they experience some changes and they'll be providing the new requirements. We'll be repeating the same cycle for the new requirements. Agile model encourages the clients to give new requirements. Agile model encourages the clients to give new requirements. Agile model will break the dependencies between the teams and helps the entire workforce in action. So which will help for clients to meet the deadlines easily. The software companies can meet the deadlines easily because of Agile model. Agile model encourages the clients to new requirements. So on all approaches, Agile model is definitely much more better model from the waterfall model on a high level. So that's the reason the entire industry is using the Agile model now. Okay, clear about this? Perfect. Now, probably comparative analysis, for example, if the waterfall model will take 2 years of time, if the waterfall model will take 2 years of time to deliver a particular product, the same product using the Agile model, you can just deliver it in 1 year. You can just deliver it in 1 year. Such a difference of time happens between the waterfall model and Agile model. Clear about this? If the waterfall model takes 2 years, agile model, you can do it in just 1 year or less than that. So this is how the time reference and agile model encourages the clients to give new requirements. Very good. In all cases, the agile model is preferred. That's the reason in the current industry, the most popular model in the current industry is the agile model. Now the problem is, if the waterfall model is taking 2 years, the agile model will take just 1 year, and the clients are not ready to wait for 1 year also. Now the problem is clients are not ready to wait for 1 year. If you explain the client saying that we'll be using agile model and we'll be delivering the particular product in just 1 year, the clients are not ready to wait for 1 year. The clients gives the requirements now. They want to deliver the projects in just 1 month, just in 2 months or 3 months. In such a faster rate, the client wants their applications to be built and delivered. The current industry is you cannot expect the clients to wait for 1 long year. 1 year is waiting time. They want the applications to be delivered at much more faster rate. So such a faster rate, clients are expecting their applications to be built and delivered. Okay, so out of Fortune 500 companies, the top 10 IT companies have done a research work for a period of 5 years to understand the reason for the delay. Okay, waterfall model is a delayed approach. When compared to waterfall model, agile model is a better model, but even the agile model is taking 1 year time to deliver the particular product. So reason for the delay. They want analysis and understand the reason for the delay in the software development process. After doing a research work for 5 years, the companies have understood the reason for the delay in the software development process, irrespective of any model what they are using. The main cause for the delay in the software development process is the gap between development team and operations team, my dear friends. The main problem with the delay is the gap between development team and operations team. This is causing the delay in the software development lifecycle. After doing a research work, the main statement, the problem statement is the gap between development team and operations team, which is causing the delay in the software development process. If this gap is filled, then you can develop the product at much more faster rate. You can meet the client's requirements in just 3 months. The only problem is this statement, the gap between development team and operations team. Now let's try to understand the statement, that gap. Let's try to understand the statement. What do you mean by gap between development team and operations team? Let's try to understand the statement. What do you mean by gap between development team and operations team? Development team, anybody can visualize easily. Development team is nothing but group of developers. Development team is nothing but group of developers. Am I right, my dear friends? Group of Java developers is nothing but development team. A group of Python developers is nothing but development team. Development team is very easy to understand and visualize. You have to understand the term called operations team, ops team. If you want to understand the problem statement, gap between development team and operations team, development team you can easily understand. You have to understand the term called operations team. Let me explain the term called operations team. Once you clearly understand what is operations team, then you can understand the problem statement, the gap between development team and operations team. Let me understand about the concept of operations team. Let me explain the term called operations team. What do you mean by operations team? Try to understand. This is very, very important point. Please try to understand the concept of operations team. Okay, look at this. Participants, please try to understand this. Assuming a small company, a small IT company of 100 employees. Assuming a small software development company of 100 employees. 100 billable resources for a particular client, assume. In a company of 100 employees, right from the first employee to last employee who are working for a specific client, right from the first employee to last employee, do you think everyone is a developer? That is very important point you have to understand. Right from the first employee to last employee, my dear friends, do you think everybody is a developer? It's not the case. Assuming that the 100 resources working for a particular client, 100 billable resources. I'm not talking about the other staff. I'm talking about the IT staff who are providing their services to the customer. Do you think everybody is a developer? No, it's not the case. Please don't be under the impression that everybody who's working for a particular project or a client is a developer. It's not the case. Probably in a group of 100 resources, probably 50 people could be developers. Okay, understand. There are other set of people, who are not developers, but they are very important. They are very critical. They have their contributions to the particular project. Without this set of other people who are not developers, developers cannot progress at all. Even these are very, very important. Are you understanding, my dear friends? These are very, very important. Please don't be under the impression that in the IT industry, only developers are important and only developers are preferred, or it's not the case. There are a set of people who are not developers, but they are very, very critical. They are equally important. And in fact, more important than developers. This set of people who does not belong to development team are called as operations team. So if all big companies will boast that they are having these many thousands of employees in their organization, right? Very big companies like Infosys, TCS, when they say that we are having these many number of resources all over India or all over the world, don't think that every resource who are working for a particular client is a developer. There are a set of people who are developers. There are a set of people who are not developers, but they are very important and critical. These other set of people who does not belong to development team is called as operations team. Then obviously next question that comes to your mind, Sunil, okay, so developers will develop the code. Then what will be the operations team day-to-day requirements, day-to-day responsibilities? What will be the operations team responsibilities? Let's try to understand it. Please observe here. Operations team responsibilities. Installation of server hardware. You will have development servers, you will have testing servers, you will have production servers. You will have OS upgradations to be installed. Who will be doing it? Do you think the Java developers will be doing it? No. We have to configure switches. We need to configure VLANs. We need to configure servers. We need to configure networks. Who will be doing it? Do you think development team will be doing it? No, there will be skilled resources who will be doing it. Network administrators, cyber security administrators, system administrators, who will be monitoring the servers. If the server is suddenly down, happily development team send a mail saying that server is down, but who will be responding to it? Do you think development team will respond if the server is down? No. It's operations team to monitor the servers. They will work for 24/7, responding to the outations, IT security. Who will be responsible for maintaining the firewalls? Who will be responsible for creating the security groups? Firewall rules to be applied. Who is responsible for providing high security, change culture, version controlling, backup and disaster recovery, production support? Like this, there are a lot of resources who work for a backend for a particular project. This set of people who does not belong to development team are called as operations team. It's very, very difficult and challenging job for an operations team to maintain their day-to-day activities. So these are you need resources to maintain these kind of activities. So these are the responsibilities of an operations team. So operations team is completely very, very important. Now the problem with the delay even though you are using agile model, the problem with the delay is because of gap between development team and operation team. I'll give you a small example. What do you mean? I'll give you a small example difference between what do you mean by gap between operations team and development team? Assuming development team needs Oracle database instance, Oracle database server. Assuming that the development team needs Oracle database instance. So happily development team will send a mail to the operations saying that we need Oracle database 19C version, so and so requirement for a particular project. Now it is whose responsibility to install Oracle, to create a server, to install Oracle databases of specific version and provide the credentials to the development team. Who will be doing it? Database administrators. Database administrators comes into operations team. All the non-development team comes into operations team. There'll be core, hardcore DBAs. Database should be communicating to the application server. All this should be done at the back end. So it is an Oracle DBA who will be responsible for providing the instance to the development team. Assuming if Oracle DBA is on leave for a period of 1 week, if an Oracle DBA he's on leave for a period of 1 week, now what will be happening to the requirement? Obviously, development team will wait for 1 week. There's a gap. If the skilled resources are not available or the infrastructure is not available, the complete infrastructure is full. They don't have capacity to provide provision the new infrastructure. In such case, also there's a gap. There are several reasons which is causing the delay because of the gap or miscommunication between not miscommunication, because of the way of work between the development team and the operations team. So this is the problem statement. The main problem statement in the delay in the software development cycle is the gap between development team and the operations team. You know what you mean by development team. Now you know what you mean by operations team. How can we overcome the problem statement? The problem statement is gap between development team and the operations team. And this gap can be filled with a new team called as a DevOps team. Here comes the role of a DevOps engineer. The communication, the gap between the development team and the operations team can be fulfilled by using a new team called as a DevOps team. That's our role, DevOps and its importance. DevOps is a methodology. It's a methodology. This methodology can be implemented by using tools. It's a methodology. What that methodology will do, it will promote the collaboration between development and operations team. That's the problem, right? Gap should be filled. So your DevOps methodology helps promotion between development team and operations team. This will allow deployment of code into production at much more faster in automated way. Have you heard automation is gaining boom in the market? It helps in rapid development of products. Okay. So as a DevOps team, you have to collaborate between the development team and the operations team using the methodology. That methodology can be implemented by using tools. Collaboration is not just by talking. You have to implement the tools. The tools will help in filling the gap between the development team and the operations team. Okay, perfect. Now, this methodology can be implemented by using the tools. Now, these are the tools which are covered as part of our training course. Most of the DevOps tools we will be installing and configuring using the Linux commands. So only prerequisite is that you should be good at basics of Linux. So first we'll spend some time working with Linux. Every DevOps engineer should be strong in Linux activities, communicating with respect to Linux operating system. So we'll be spending some time with Linux. And then we move on to the tools of DevOps that is called as Git. And then we move on to next tool called Maven. And then we'll be moving on to CI/CD tool called as Jenkins. The next we'll learn about Docker and Docker Swarm. Next we'll discuss about Kubernetes. Next we'll discuss about Ansible. Next we'll discuss about Nagios and Terraform. These are the set of tools. Using these tools, you can implement DevOps methodology and collaborate between the development team and the operations team. Yes, Baron, how are you doing? So these are the tools which are covered as part of our training course. The session starts at early morning, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, Monday to Friday. 7 or 7:15, it will be Monday to Friday. Clear? Clear about this? So this is not the right number. So don't work out with this particular number. The number has been changed. Send an email to support@logiclabstech.com if you have any questions with respect to this particular course. Okay, clear? So I have explained you DevOps and its importance. the problem with the software development lifecycle, even though in the agile model is the gap, and that gap can be much more fulfilled, and much you can speed up the development process using the DevOps methodology. So clients will have now three teams. Typically, it will be two-team development team and operations team. Whereas now the clients are implementing DevOps methodology, there will be three teams: development team, operations team, as well as DevOps team. Yes, Shashank, I can see your hand raised. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Yes.
I just wanted to know what is hardware requirement for this course.
Okay.
You know,
Like all these DevOps tools, whatever we are learning, Shashank, will be learning on AWS platform. Okay. We will not install all these tools on our personal laptop. Everything will be installed on AWS. So your laptop configuration does not have any impact on it.
Okay.
Clear, Shashank?
Yeah. Thank you.
Sharad.
Yeah, hi sir.
Good morning, Sharad.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Actually, I'm working as a software tester, so I want to know that it is beneficial for software testers as well.
Are you planning to move from the testing
Uh,
domain to the other domain?
Not right now, but yeah, in future,
If you are
definitely.
planning to move in future, then definitely it will work. If you are planning to stick to your testing domain, then it will not work. Okay. If you
Okay,
want to
fine.
come out of testing, so you how many years of experience you're having in testing?
Currently, actually, 2 years of experience I have, but
Okay,
currently I'm doing as a manual.
testing.
Yeah.
Mhm. So if you want to come out of the testing domain, you want then DevOps is the right platform for you. Okay. Either you need to go to development track or you can go to DevOps track. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
So
fine.
yes, Sharon.
Hi, Sunil. As you told earlier, as you suggested earlier, like I was having 1.5 years of experience in my technology to shift internally. But the thing is, my manager will not release me from the project if I wanted to shift internally. So, is there any chance for me to shift externally?
Yes, you can. So
Okay.
it's up to you. Once you have the skills is ready with you, it's up to you. Want to stick to your existing company or you can move externally. That's not a
If
problem.
I
Okay.
wanted to shift externally, will I be considered as a fresher or experienced?
Your profile should not be a fresher profile. Oh, you have total 1.5 year of experience. Am I right, Sharon? The
Yes.
complete 1.5 year of experience you have to project in AWS and DevOps skill sets. That's how
Oh,
you have to project your resume. You should not project your existing technology because you're planning to move to DevOps. When you're
yeah.
planning to move to your DevOps, you have to project that I have worked so and so out of this 1 year of experience or 1.5 year experience. These are my day-to-day responsibilities. That's how you have to answer in the interview.
Oh,
Okay?
oh.
Yeah, it's very easy. No problem. Good morning, Imran. How are you doing?
Hello, Sunil.
Hello.
One minute. How are you, Imran?
Yeah, hi Sunil. Hi, good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah. So,
Your location, your experience.
I'm in Hyderabad only. So
Hmm.
I'm a US IT recruiter.
You're also a SIT recruiter.
Yes, indeed. Actually, I just want to switch my career, and I was looking for some from coming from non-technical background.
Mhm.
So, uh,
Mhm.
how's the things work for me?
As
Like,
so, the roadmap I already have mentioned to other participants also. What you're learning now is DevOps. Am I right?
yes, yes.
Okay. You also have to learn AWS.
Okay.
Okay.
S-
So once you complete these two courses, you have to project your experience, close to 3 years of experience in your resume. But you have to promise that you have to practice whatever we are learning. You have to complete the projects. We already have 4 projects in your YouTube. Okay, so you have to project those experience. If you are confident perfectly, you are able to understand it, then you can definitely get the offer.
Okay.
Okay, Imran.
Okay. So, what should I learn first, DevOps or AWS, or
See,
I can?
anyways, you have started DevOps. Please continue DevOps as well, and then later you can learn AWS.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yakambaran.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Yeah, very good morning. So I am a developer. I'm having a 5 years experience in Java full stack development.
Java full
So
stack. Okay.
yeah, is it better to learn this course now, or what are the services we cover in AWS part of this course?
Okay. So as I told you, we will be just covering only one service in AWS that is called as EC2. That's all. Okay. Okay. Because our focus is on DevOps tools. Okay. For DevOps, only one service is required, EC2. So I'll be covering just EC2 service. I'll be showing you how to create an EC2 machines and how can we connect to the EC2 machines. Okay. Okay. So of primary, the entire focus is on DevOps tools, not AWS course. Okay. Yakambaran. Okay. But it is recommended to learn AWS services also. That will be always an added advantage.
Okay. Actually, I'm looking for particularly AWS services course, like Terraform, formation tools, deployment.
Okay. So please join the AWS course, okay, which is already running now. Or if you can wait for 10 days, we'll be starting a new AWS course.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, Vivek. How are you doing? Vivek, you are now allowed.
Yes, Sunil. Suppose assume there are 50 operations team in my company. If everything is automated with DevOps, then is it necessary for 50 operations team, or is there any cutoff?
DevOps is a job killer for operations team. Okay.
Okay.
DevOps is a job killer. That means when there is a strong DevOps team, you can reduce the dependency on the operations team. Okay. Okay. So because have you observed there is less number of requirements now for a database administrators because database is becoming autonomous, Vivek, isn't it? Okay. So patching, applying, cloning, and all these are happening automatically. So the future of DevOps is a threat to the operations team. Okay. Not now, but in future. But definitely it will reduce the dependency on the operations team. Okay. Because on behalf of operations team, you will be delivering your activity to the development team. Okay, Vivek?
Okay. Yeah.
There's a research work going on with a concept called no ops, Vivek. The target of research work no ops is that there should be no operations team, only development team and DevOps team. Okay, so that's the research work going. So always operations team, it will reduce the dependence. DevOps will reduce the dependency on the operations team. Okay.
Now, suppose if I am a DevOps team member, my responsibilities are like interacting with development team and operations team.
Using these tools, not just interacting. You have to use these particular tools. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So how to use these tools? In what scenarios these tools should be used? You'll understand it once you start learning it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Vivek.
Yes.
Thank you. My dear team, the first 5 sessions are the demo sessions. The first 5 sessions are the demo sessions. The course fees is the course fees, you can see here, you can so go to the upcoming batches and here you have an option called buy now. The course fees is 6,499. Yes, 6,499. It is 6,500 is the course fees. Okay. Anyways, the first 5 sessions, first 5 or 4 sessions are the demo sessions, and then the meeting link will change, and then the meeting link will be given to the paid candidates. Okay. See you tomorrow for continuation of this particular session. So what's the plan for tomorrow? Our plan for tomorrow, as I told you, the prerequisite is Linux. We have to start Linux, and Linux also we learn it on AWS cloud. So tomorrow, for especially for people who are directly learning DevOps without AWS. So tomorrow we'll spend some time how to create a new AWS account, how to connect to the EC2 machine, and getting started with Linux. This is our plan for tomorrow session. Okay. Until then, stay tuned. Join in our WhatsApp groups. I hope you are already in the WhatsApp group. I have shared the chat in the WhatsApp group link in the chat box, or you can get the WhatsApp group link from the website. Okay, and see you tomorrow for continuation of learning on DevOps at same time, 6 o'clock early morning. Have a good time. Thank you very much.